It's NTV at 1. Now, as we get to celebrate International Women's Day today, NTV at 1 is hosting a lady who has invested in other women, as is the theme for this year's celebrations. #Invest in Her. Hajjat Aphwa Sebyala is an insurance consultant, seasoned mentor with major focus on personal development, as well as the corporate governance with a wealth of hands-on expertise. She's also known as Mama Green for her environmental campaigns, which she has dedicated efforts to address the impact of climate change. Now, we are hosting her on Women's Day to share with us women and how she has become and been able to create an impact on society. And so may I say happy Women's Day to you, Hajjat.
Happy Women's Day to you, my dear.
It's a pleasure to have you with us here.
Yeah, it's a great honor for me to be here, especially on this day. Very, very excited that you invited me here.
All right, so you're a prominent activist in women's rights as well as climate change and action, and you've dedicated your efforts continuously to address the impact of climate change. What is inspiring you into this kind of work?
Okay, climate change is real. It's no longer a story, it's no longer an imagination. It's because when I was growing up, everything, everywhere in Gomba was green. When you go back to Gomba now, it's like brown. You have to buy posho, but previously it wasn't like that. So climate change is real. The weather, everything has changed. When you expect rain, it doesn't come. Previously, January, Feb, March were hot, like sunny months. But today, rains come when you don't expect them. Seasons have changed. So that inspired me to come in to make sure that at least I make a contribution towards fighting the effects of climate change.
Okay.
Yes.
Speaking of contributions, you've mentioned Gomba. What have you done for women in Gomba to actually inspire them to be a part of this cause? Because women are by far the biggest victims of environmental degradation from where we are starting. So how have you enabled them to appreciate that they need to put their efforts together in order to fight for their justice?
I'm sure some ladies from Gomba are watching this, and if they were to answer, they will give you several answers to this question. However, I formed Gomba Women Environment and Development Group, specifically to empower the housewives and then the children and their families. I also formed Gomba Green Brigade. And these two are to fight climate change, but also to empower the lady, put up environmentally friendly economic activities to ensure that they survive as ladies. So that's what I have done for Gomba in a nutshell. But that is replicated throughout the country because I work with other women groups throughout the country. I'm also the president of Women in Insurance in Uganda. We don't just do insurance, but we also sensitize in climate change, because you see insurance is about risk fighting. And if we do not address the issues of climate change in insurance, then we shall have floods, we shall have so many claims coming out of those natural disasters. So even in insurance, fighting climate is very, very relevant. Yes. Okay.
Speaking of fighting climate, Mama Green is always having something green on her. If it's not her dress code, then it is something in her hands, which she's holding this afternoon. And why are you holding a baby plant in your hands?
You see, I'm holding this plant because action. We need to take action. We've talked, we've attended conferences, but for me, wherever I go, I make sure that I take action. You saw, like this tree, I'm going to leave it here, I'm going to give it to you, so that you plant it, and then you plant many, many other trees, you know? So like action is the most important thing now. We've talked. We should stop talking and start taking action. So wherever you find me, I must have a tree, either in my car, and people know that. They even stop me, Mama Green, can I have a tree? I'm sure I give them trees, yes.
Yeah. All right.
That's why,
Well, thank you so much, Mama Green. As we conclude, what is your message to the women today as we celebrate Women's Day?
Oh, the women. This is our day. We are so lucky to have a day, just one day in 365 days. Let's make the most out of it. Let's pull up other women. If we're up here, make sure that as you go up, you take others along. That is the most important thing. Don't move alone. Make sure that you empower someone. If you are not empowered, look up for ladies who will mentor you. We are there to mentor you. We are there to coach you. Please look up to someone who will empower you positively. And then as you are empowered, make sure that you move along with other ladies.
All right.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Mama Green. Hajjat Aphwa Sebyala there. Of course, she's an inspiration to many. She's over 70 years of age, and so you should not have age as an excuse. Now, speaking of